Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Vladimir Putin finally comes out and he says what a lot of us uh, also think, and that is United States of America most likely blown up the Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 pipeline. Directly involved or ordered someone, and that someone did it for the United States of America. These are the biggest suspects are the United States of America, I would say Great Britain, maybe some other weasel countries, like whomever, Norway, Denmark, in that area. So I have here two articles coming from Sputnik, and they're going to tell us Vladimir Putin's reasoning in order to, claim that actually it's the United States most likely. I'm surprised that he doesn't have any evidence to support his claims. The only evidence he's got are kind of like logical evidence, but that's not enough, I would say. But hey, if you have gut feelings, I think that's like 100% evidence. I know a group in our society uses gut feeling as evidence. Can you name it? So here it is. Nord Stream pipelines were likely blown up by US. Vladimir Putin says during his media appearance with a Q&A today on the 14th of December 2023. And the article that I'm going to talk about is also from Sputnik. And this is what Putin said. You look for the person who will benefit. Obvious, US blew up Nord Stream. This is what Putin said. Que bono, that is who benefits. You always use that. You always use that in an investigation. Que bono, who benefits out of this? Or follow the money. The same kind of, it's a secondary of the que bono, who benefits. Russian President Vladimir Putin offered his take on the Nord Stream gas pipeline explosion at his year-end presser Thursday, saying the US was either directly or indirectly responsible. This is obvious based on a geopolitical and economic analysis of the terror attack. Veteran geopolitical commentator and author Thomas W. Pauken II tells Sputnik. Vladimir Putin addressed the Nord Stream network sabotage attack while answering a question about the energy crisis facing the European Union. So, and I'm quoting Putin, the fact that Europe is not getting enough gas is its problem. Oddly enough, they've tried to blame us for not selling them something. This is completely nonsense, because we weren't the ones to close the Yamal Europe gas pipeline in Poland. We weren't the ones to close the second line of the gas pipeline running through the territory of Ukraine. Ukraine did so. It wasn't us that blew up the Nord Stream 1 and partly the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. It was most likely the US that did it, or someone at their suggestion, the Russian president said. So US officials and media initially suggested that Moscow blew up its own pipelines. It was not impossible, but very unlikely. But nevertheless, they ignored the que bono thing. And then he says, ignoring threats by President Biden publicly in early February 2022 to, and I'm quoting, end Nord Stream if the Donbas crisis escalated into a wider Ukrainian proxy war between NATO and Russia. Earlier this year, Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Seymour Hersh reported that U.S. Navy divers acting in coordination with the Norwegian Navy were responsible for plotting and carrying out the Nord Stream attacks. Hersh's story prompted US and German intelligence to hastily come up with their own cover story. I think it was they didn't come with it first, and then it came after a week after Hersh came with his report. At first accusing shadowy amateur Ukrainian operatives without any connections to any governments of carrying out the crime using a rented yacht, the Love Yacht. The story was changed last month, with Western media reporting that the pipeline attack was coordinated by Roman Chervinsky, a Ukrainian Special Operations Forces colonel currently rotting in a Kiev jail on abuse of power charges, and saying Chervinsky took orders from more senior Ukrainian officials who reported to Armed Forces Commander-in-Chief Valery Zaluzny. It was a setup for Zaluzny. And by the way, they immediately said that the weasel, all right, Cubano, and the weasel Zelensky did not know shit about it. Yeah, okay, let's see. See, they got to Kebono. Let's see that one. But speculation and CIA mind games aside, an elementary analysis of who stands to win or lose from the Nord Stream's destruction points the finger squarely at the United States, saying veteran geopolitical commentator, trade expert, and author Thomas W. Pauken II. Well, yeah, but you can't just reach a conclusion just based on that. You're the prime suspect. That's what it is. Another obvious logical game, and I'm quoting, is who would benefit from this pipeline explosion? Well, obviously the US would, because if they want Ukraine to keep fighting and if they want to keep Europe motivated to fight Russia, then bombing this pipeline would give them further motivation, because they can no longer count on Russian gas being exported to EU member states after the Ukraine conflict ended, Pauken told Sputnik. At the same time, I'm quoting, the US is a major exporter of oil and gas, and they can charge full price, exactly what they do with liquefied natural gas. So now, that's exactly what I said. So nothing new, but great that he came to the same conclusion. So now that the pipeline is no longer effective or working, and that is no way to get around that, the oil and gas from the Russian side became more expensive. So the US financially benefited, being able to sell oil and gas at much higher price, the Observer explained. Well, I thought I said the same thing about it, and that doesn't prove, and there will be no answer from the Danish investigation or Swedish investigation or the little German investigation. The Russian asked over and over to be allowed to have access to evidence or whatever. They don't want them. They don't want them near. Why? And even if they want him, and the Russians will point out the obvious weasel, then what are they going to do? The problem is, when they will say it, the thing will be over. And that is, you can't do anything about it. What are they going to do? They have troops on your territory. They have their elected officials on your governments. They will restrict any move that you would want to do. Right now, I just covered Finland accepted the U.S. military coming in their 15 military bases in Finland. 15! U.S. occupied Finland without shooting one shot. That's all. Nothing. Why? Because they got the right people in the right place. That's all. That's how you do it. You take over without shooting. Someone opened the castle's doors or fortress's door, the defensive walls. You just breach them by opening the door for them, and you invite them as friends to defend you from the enemy. When on their forehead is written enemy. But hey, the mass media works for them as well. So not all of it, just some is necessary, just some. And when you're going to say, hey, it was you, what are you going to do? Nothing. They're going to be, forget about it. They will turn it into something positive. You'll see. You'll say, yeah, it was us, but you know what? We all benefited. And you're like, how in the I benefited? We destroyed them. We got rid of their potential blackmail. Now we blackmail you. My God, it's so easy, so simple. Hey, what do you want? Human beings, if they have shelter, if they have food, if they have a pussy or a cock, if they have a TV or something to look at, that is to get out from reality into some virtual reality that they are escaping their garbage lives. They don't have anything else to get entertained. They get entertained with something imaginary. Then that's all they need. Food, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. What the hell, my friends? This is most overwhelming majority of our fellow human beings. I would say 99.9%. That's it. So even if in 2, 3, 4, 5 years they would say it was the Russians, these guys will be like, huh? Okay. They're gonna be, okay. Like, okay, fine. What do I care? Mommy, fixing a sandwich. Thank you very much for giving me a good day. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, be just.